Sean.
Yeah, my story is quite interesting. It can be a long story, but I'm going to make it 2 minutes, and it kind of doesn't do it justice. But grew up in a uh, culturally Christian home in the South, so we would have if we went to church, it would have been a local Baptist church, something like that. That's the prevalent representation in the South. And so you have a general feel for what Christianity is growing up in the South, but I was never active in my faith. My parents were good people, still are. They're much more active in their faith now because they've watched the transformation in my life, and that's had an effect on their faith. Um, but I grew up very troubled: drugs, alcohol, um, relationship issues, uh, crime, getting involved with criminal activity related to drugs, selling drugs, and things like that. And I actually went to jail in Columbus, Georgia, uh, and they were planning to charge me with drug trafficking, and that could have been up to 10 years in federal or state prison. And so I decided to try this thing called prayer. and and I actually asked God to help get me out of this situation I had gotten myself into. And God actually spoke to me and told me that he would get me out of it, but if I did not stop living the way I was living, that he would not get me out of it the next time. I had given a stack of cash to one of my friends before the police officers pulled me out of the car and took me to the jail. And I said, "See if you can find somebody to bail me out." Now, I was trafficking drugs across state line, so the probability of me being bailed out was 0 to none. Uh, Somehow, my friend did not run off with my money, which I thought he was going to do. He found a bail bondsman that went out on a limb with me and made some connections, and I somehow got out of it. Uh, the judge went easy on me and gave me probation, and I thought, wow, God really did get me out of that. That was weird. I thought I was going to prison, and so when 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 I heard the voice of God for the first time, I responded, "I want to follow you, but I need you to show me how." I felt like I was completely enslaved to the lifestyle I was living. I didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't know anything else. I felt completely trapped. And so my appeal to God was, if you can set me free, I'll serve you. And incrementally, he began to, I call it, rearrange the chessboard of my life. And so old people he would take out and he'd bring new people in. And one thing led to another. And I found myself walking into a spirit filled charismatic church, and I encountered the power of the Holy Spirit. And the pastor there took a notice of me and began to pour into me. And through a series of events, I heard the voice of God a second time in prayer. And he spoke to me and told me that he was calling me to be an evangelist. And I said, "Well, if that's you, God, I need you to provide for me to go to Bible college because I have no credentials. I don't know how to preach the Bible or anything." And so I went searching for a Bible college to go to. And one of them, the registrar, prayed for me and sent me on my way and said they didn't have any scholarship funds. But then the dean of the college was waiting in the parking lot for me and said God had spoken to him to give me a full scholarship to go to Bible college.